I'm so excited. For the next 48 hours, I get to share with you the 10 micro habits I use to boost my feminine energy. Welcome to the first, last, only, and best day of your life. What will you do with it? If you also are devoted to extraordinary, I would love if you subscribed and also became a woman of virtue alongside me. This is the journey. The first thing that I do is I create moments of stillness and slowness to boost my feminine energy. First thing in the morning, I hear the birds sing. I wake up, and it's that moment between sleeping, dreaming, and waking that I recognize I barely even know who I am or what I need to do. So it's a beautiful thing to actually rest in my sheets, touch them, feel them, acknowledge the warmth of the sun on my skin, perhaps see the colors outside, the blue of the sky, the green of the trees, and appreciate what I have. This gratitude has been a long time coming in my life, and it's all about coming out of survival mode steadily but surely. Because a lot of us will wake up with an alarm or straight out of bed and start meeting our quick needs or other people's needs because we have dependence. We can only actually grow into that self actualization from Maslow's hierarchy of needs if we're coming away from our physiological needs, if we're coming away from worrying and being anxious and pedaling towards paying the rent or being able to have food on the table, if we can focus our energy away from that, is only when we already meet those needs. So, to acknowledge that you're meeting those needs is vital. Are you, in fact, getting up for work? Are you able at the end of the month to pay for the rent? Or are you being supported in any kind of way whereby those needs are met? If so, you can start slowly and steadily coming into the present moment more and more often. We need to have pillars in place that support our expansion, that support our feminine energy to grow. It really is about setting the alarm a little bit earlier and creating the space that you need for yourself to be ready to show up the way that you want to for the rest of your day, because this is the time in which you set your intention. If you can slow down, recognize what you have, and then be present in this moment, you can set the intention that today is indeed the first day of your life, the last day, perhaps, you never know, of your life, the only day of your life, and the best day of your life. You're going to meet it with all of that essence of yourself, which is your entire soul, mind, and body directed to right now because it's all we have. So, that acknowledgement is the most powerful thing because your reaction to how things are in life is actually the only control that you have. By sitting with the sensory feelings of the present moment, with what we can hear, with what we can see, with what we can feel, that allows us to deepen our gratitude for life. And in this vision, we can go forth the rest of the day in a much better mood than we would have had we jumped up out of bed. I do also have mornings where I jump out of bed if my doggy needs me earlier and we go for a walk. But even then, I can slow down on the walk. So you can find moments where you can set an intention for yourself and always recenter by taking a deep breath. So that's all the acknowledgement you need. You have breath. It is everything we're given, is this life, right now, the present moment. When we slow down, we can recognize our inner needs and our most important and prioritized needs. And that changes perhaps the schedule to our day as to how we want to meet it in order to put our energy where we will appreciate later that we did now. In the long run, it gives us such a sense of inner peace and resilience to know that we slowed down enough to prioritize what mattered most. Feminine energy is the surrender and the acknowledgement, and masculine energy is the doing in the moment. So, to sit and reflect is the very next thing I do within creating that stillness and slowness. I might reflect on the dream that I had had, But I also will grab my Bible and start reading because my goal is to complete it within a year. So every day I read between half an hour or an hour of the Bible. And it is so edifying and it gives me such intention towards the day because it's a devotional, which is a beautiful contrast with devoted to extraordinary, that I get to sit with the Word of God and realign my values and realign my intentions and how I'm showing up to the world. So, around now is when I will set the intention that today is, in fact, the first, last, only, and best day of my life. That is such a brilliant reminder because it is so true. And it's only the best if you make it so decidedly and intentionally. The second micro habit to boost feminine energy is to wear clothes that make you feel extraordinary. For years, I just wore comfortable clothing. I wore t shirts and jeans and trousers that were completely different colors, and I didn't know what it was to actually look aesthetic or to feel great purposefully. And of course, that was in my teen years, and no one ever actually taught me. But to look good is to acknowledge that you care for yourself. If you can brush your hair, have clean nails, put on some makeup, feel yourself through your identity in clothing, it helps tremendously with the way that you show up in the world because all of these things that you're doing for yourself show through your essence and are, in fact, adding to the essence of who you are. As you might have recognized, what we do doesn't matter as much as how we are doing it. And how we are doing something is all pinpointed on the why we are doing it. So if you're wearing clothes that make you feel brilliant, it's because you love them. And therefore, how you walk in the world will be way better when you're enjoying the clothes you're wearing than if you're not. Clothes can change your identity. I am someone completely different when I wear jean shorts and a t shirt compared to when I wear a dress. But that is me. It will be different for you because it'll mean something different to you. The why is what matters. Even scripture says that inner beauty matters more than external beauty. It is 1 Peter 3 to 4 that reads, whose adorning let it not be that outward adorning or plaiting of the hair and of wearing of gold or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. This is speaking to our spirit, to be submissive to God and God's word. That does not mean to be quiet people. It is simply that we have that inner resilience and that inner knowing that everything will be okay, which in and of itself means that we're not in survival mode all of the time, that we can, in fact, be present. So always be put together. There's so much to be said for that. And it is very easy to stand out in this society by simply taking care of small little parts of hygiene like this. This makes you not only feel good for yourself, but it also allows you to attract opportunities and people who will respect you because of the way that you're carrying yourself. What feels good to you to wear is going to feel different to me to wear. So compliment your natural beauty. For some women, feminine will look like dresses and skirts, and for others, it'll look different. And that's completely okay because whatever it is that makes your essence shine in the room that you walk into, that makes heads turn when you walk in there, is what's going to work for you. The third micro habit to boost your feminine energy is to play. It is so important to prioritize play. It does say also in the Bible, only children will enter into the kingdom of heaven. And this is because we have to laugh and find joy and create and experience the present moment, not only always for some practical purpose, but rather because we're simply enjoying the process. Include small moments of pleasure because you enjoy them, not particularly because they are productive. You're not trying to reach an end goal, you're simply trying to be in this present moment. Delight in the Lord, as it says in Psalm 37:4. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. I think it's when we are creative and when we are playing and when we are dancing and moving and just feeling life that we are fully in our hearts. And it does say that's when God gives us the desires of our heart, is because everything that we're forever striving for is joy and laughter and a feeling of lightness. And that is exactly what we're getting to do when we're playing. So, to have the ability to surrender as a feminine woman and to play also opens us up to everything and anything that life is offering. If we're not playing, we're probably expecting a certain outcome. But when we are playing, we're open to other people to show up as they are, which in itself means that they're not feeling judgment by us. They're not feeling that we think that they're limited in any capacity, which also allows them to be even more self actualized themselves, even more of their authentic essence. So, if we can inspire other people to be even brighter than they are, perhaps alone or in any other group in society, then we're doing the work that we came to earth for, because we're laughing, we're creating more joy here. Playing is the ultimate capacity that even men will want in a woman, because they're stressed a lot of the time. They're working and they're focused and they have their head down. But when they can lift it and see someone who's got a massive smile on her face and who maybe cracks a joke or is just lighthearted in that I want to be with you kind of way, of course they're going to want to be around you even more. Play really shows the softness that a woman has. This is such a welcoming energy. It is warm and receptive and open because you have a soft, open heart for those that you trust and want to acknowledge through this experience of play. When I'm on my walk with my dog, I play all the time. I take my shoes off. I just walk barefoot in the grass, which is fantastic for the electromagnetism of my body to balance with the earth's. But also, I just move around and frolic in the grass and dance a little bit and enjoy the experience of life, which is a beautiful micro habit to develop to boost your feminine energy. Number 4 might sound counterintuitive, but if you write to dos down, it is going to help boost your feminine energy tremendously. You'll be able to not be so anxious and perpetual in your reminders, not so anxious or masculine in your having to remember. When I'm out and I have something on my mind, I'll immediately go to my iPhone notes and I will write down that task. I love the little to-do list that the iPhone notes offers because I can tick it off as I go. That is actually honestly how I schedule my days usually. I just use my iPhone notes. I don't get on with Notion or Google Calendar or all these other templates as much as my iPhone notes, and that's what works for me. It may be different for you. And this is important because it's the transition moments that are possibly the most stressful. I like being able to cook a certain meal, for instance. So, to be able to find the recipe and then get the groceries and then get to the meal cooking part, which I enjoy the most, is what takes the most stress. So, if I can write down what my groceries list is, that's going to be so helpful for me when I'm actually in the store and I won't be forgetting anything that I need when I'm later cooking. Writing down what's on my mind takes it off, and then I can focus my energy on being that playful, open, feminine woman. What I also do is have a visual calendar. So this is my calendar. It keeps me on track. What I do is put the entire month and want to post daily, so that's the goal. And whatever I need to do, I put the gym 3 times a week. I have my YouTube video every single Sunday. This is my vision. This is how I tell it. A little inspiring picture. The only life worth living is devoted to extraordinary. What keeps me accountable is being in a container that is mind, body, and soul for me, and my long-term goals and my monthly activities. So every single month I want to have a friend lunch date, I want a full day in nature, I want 2 days of no social media, a sunrise, a sunset, try something new, family movie night, solo cafe date, self-care day, and a resting or doing nothing day. So other things that I want to do eventually. And really, it just is a great way to keep me on track in a visual way that I keep right by my bed so I can always see it. As a little bonus, it is so wonderful, and I appreciate very much scheduling me time into the calendar because it is equally as important as anything else that has to get done. Although it's a little bit more masculine energy to schedule things, it is very feminine energy to be able to surrender. As the fourth tip to boost your feminine energy, have your own back and write things down. The fifth micro habit to boost your feminine energy is to ask for help when you need it, with a twist. So, what people may say to you often is that it is important to ask either your neighbor, your parent, your sister for help when you need it, for something that you can't do yourself. With men, often you will be able to do it yourself, and we all as women know that we can most likely do it ourselves, but we don't want to. In relationship with a man, we want him to be appreciated, and we can only have him be appreciated if he does something for us. So, although we can do it ourselves, to say, honey, can you help me with this, is such a wonderful bonding moment in that relationship that will strengthen it in time. Then you can appreciate him, he will feel needed and acknowledged, and that will only strengthen and deepen your bond. But further than asking those physical people around us for help, it is so important as a feminine woman to develop resilience and inner peace by asking God for help. And I did this just now when I was recording this video so many times over. I had to breathe so deeply. My mic light had just turned off and I didn't know because I was holding it backwards. So to be able to see that this green light is on is such a relief for me right now. But I really did need to breathe. And a good tip, which might seem a little weird in 1 second, is to breathe and then sigh and just make a sound until you don't. You take as many breaths as you need and sigh as loud as you can until that sound is basically non existent. It's a great stress reliever and it is a great overwhelm deflator. Saying out loud that I'm overwhelmed or voicing whatever feeling I have and being able to hear and acknowledge that I am, in fact, feeling that way is validating my own experience. And I didn't recognize it until later down the line that that is actually prayer. It is a conversation with God to say, I feel like this right now and I just can't do it. I am so overwhelmed. And then in that breath, you'll probably say something back like, it's okay. You can do it. I got you. And you'll hear this because you'll acknowledge that that's true. Asking for help when you need it is so important of God, let alone of other people in your life to build your relationships. Asking for help leads you to being able to accept help, which in itself means that you are an open and vulnerable person. Vulnerability is what allows others to see our humanity, and it's what makes us relatable. And it is that having the strength that it takes to be soft. It is acknowledging that I can't do it all on my own. Can you help me, please? And the beauty in realizing that we're not independent in this world, we're very interdependent upon others, particularly as feminine women. We need other people to step in and help us because we like feeling restful. We like not having to do absolutely everything. And we like being taken care of because that in itself is an act of self care to admit that I need help. A woman can be courageous and determined and so alive with laughter and still have a gentle and quiet spirit that surrenders to God. It is that dichotomy that makes you so extremely mysterious and beautiful. Sixth micro habit to boost feminine energy is acknowledging when a job is good enough. It took me a long time as a perfectionist to even begin to hit record or to start writing a paper or to anything because I thought it had to look a certain way and I thought that it never would, in fact, look that certain way, especially if I started and I realized the outcome wasn't there yet. So, really, good enough is the idea that 80/20 or the Pareto principle is perfect. Perfect is something being whole and complete and missing nothing. Of course, we could tweak forever, but is it worth it? So, you're most likely familiar with the Pareto principle, but it speaks on how 80% of consequences or results are created on 20% of causes or actions. So, in your doing 20%, you're already creating a solid 80% of what you need. Do you need to do much more in order to get 100%? Does it need to really look the way that you think it does? Or is it good as it is? Good, whole, perfect, complete, nothing missing. For example, I go to the gym 3 times a week. I will continue to do it because I said that I would. Does it matter that I'm not 110% maxing out all of my muscles every single time? No, I am just showing up because I said that I would. It is important that you have that leniency in your mindset and that kindness towards yourself, because if you're not your own friend first, how can you be the friend of others? Having that mindset of this is just good enough boosts your feminine energy so much, because you're no longer so analytical or highly critical of every single way something has to be, but you're lenient and you're able to flow with what is and does give or doesn't. And that's okay. It is done. And I'm happy with it. What you're ultimately doing here is you're adopting the mindset that things get to be easy. I get to have it good. And for so long, again, I was stuck in things having to be hard and me having to do it all on my own and it having to be a certain way. And that only creates a hardness, not needing to make something so much that you squeeze the enjoyment out of it. If you were a shape, you'd most likely be a square. You have corners. Are you more of a circle? Are you rounder? Are you softer? Are you a lot easier to approach? That would all be with a holistic mindset that things get to be easy because they are done. Micro habit number 7 to boost your feminine energy is to refresh. Just take 3 minutes. If halfway through your day you're feeling a little sweaty, a little smelly perhaps, and just needing like a pick me up, actually feel back in yourself by having a little spray of perfume in your bag, for instance. This cute little purse. Inside, there is a wonderful multi use makeup, which is natural, all natural products, and the perfect tone, in my opinion, for my skin color. And I use it as a lipstick, but also as a rouge, and even sometimes I put it on my eyes. And it also carries a little perfume bottle really well. And I got this one off Amazon, and it's never leaked. It's saved my life so many times. I don't like walking around in yoga pants, so I make a point of having a shower and changing into, again, great clothes. A quick touch up can shift your energy, making you feel so much more put together even on busy days. And small, little efforts like this are instant mood boosts. This brings us straight to micro habit number 8 to boost your feminine energy, which is getting little rewards for yourself. So, because I have this goal to go to the gym 3 times a week, I took myself to my favorite cafe called Akakao, and I get always the same hot cocoa because it has this tinge of spice in it that brings out the chocolate flavor so well. And hot cocoa is also really, really good for you. And I'll feel like I did it. I went to the gym and it feels good and I'm supporting myself and everything can feel like a flow because that's the intention that I set and that is the intention that I'm keeping. I also hold myself in such a way that I know that I deserve this joy and this relaxation. After I push hard at the gym and after I take care of myself, I can continue to do work and continue to stay diligent in what my goals are by relaxing and doing something that I enjoy. I don't go a day without chocolate, so ask anyone I know. And I'm sitting in this chair. It's so lovely to just deep breathe and like let my shoulders down and experience what the moment is offering me. I like to people watch and just appreciate. Happiness is a natural state of feminine energy. It is something that only comes when you choose for yourself in this way that you enjoy the process. It makes you feel and appear to others more vibrant and alive. So, getting little rewards for yourself don't only add or boost your feminine energy, they also increase your magnetism. The ninth micro habit I have for you to boost your feminine energy is to do less and to create little spaces in which you can receive. Now, I didn't have my phone out to show you an example, but practically every threshold I'm at lately, I have the door open for me. There'll usually be a man nearby who, if I lean back just slightly enough, he'll let me through first. He'll open the door for me. And it is a wonderful thing to be able to stop and acknowledge him, turn towards him and say, gracias, like, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You receiving allows somebody else to give. And if they are a man and if they're wanting to give, then that also allows you to give back because them feeling acknowledged is exactly what they want. Not only are they doing this for you, but in that acknowledgement of appreciation, you're uplifting somebody else in their day. So being a feminine woman has its own returns of investment. More than having a door opened for you, being receptive is such a quality of a feminine woman because it allows others to also have their safe space in you, to also be able to come to you with their worries, their fears, their anxieties, because they know that you're there to receive whatever it is that they have on their mind. And that is such a healing thing to do. It's all about the space that you're creating. What we spoke about with that stillness and slowness, if you can create the space between you and the door, if you can walk slower, if you can acknowledge a person near you, that invites them to open the door for you. So, receptivity is an art as well. The 10th micro habit to boost your feminine energy is to create a soothing environment for your senses. I cannot tell you how much I disliked that overhead lighting in the gym. That is a prime reason why I'm wondering if I should renew my membership. The blinding blue bright light is too much for my nervous system sometimes. And this is why I love little lights like this and candles and even some aromatherapy. Having things that soothe you versus make you more tense if you're aware of your body allow you to feel more safe. Creating a soothing environment for the senses allows you to again come back to micro habit number one, which is slow down, which is the capacity to reflect, to set those intentions. By being in a space that allows you to feel safe, you can open up to grow. You can feel that you can surrender. It is in an environment like this that I most enjoy doing inner work. If I would like to sit with my journal and do some reflecting, this is most likely the environment that I'll do it in. When things are quiet, you can put some relaxing music on as well and just enjoy the fact that everything is safe and you've got nothing else to do. Because it is through reflection that we grow. Who do I want to be? What does she walk like? How does she talk? How does she move? What does she do? How does life work for her? How do other people respond to her? All of these questions are about being our dream woman, becoming the most virtuous woman we can be. And we'll only be able to do that when we support ourselves. So, this creating a soothing environment for the senses is the most luxurious state to be in as a woman when we can slow down and we can create an environment that we love. We know that we love ourselves enough to support ourselves. Our truest growth comes from acknowledging the answers to these questions so that we can put our attention and intention on prioritizing these versus pedaling up a mountain that we don't even want to be on in the first place. When we are stuck in the masculine survival mode of doing, 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 and not analyzing or reflecting if that is in fact where we want to be in the first place, it can really change our energy to being that coarse and cornered person that I was speaking of earlier. But if we want our shape to be rounder, softer, approachable, and more feminine, to do that inner work and to reorganize the way that we are leading our lives is going to allow us to soften. When you're doing inner work, you are rewiring your brain, you are healing trauma. It does take feeling something in order to heal it. I myself have been through a breakup in the past few months, and to be able to sit with that and to recognize what was given to me from it, and to really be in a state of, I am not done until I know how I'm grateful for it. with absolutely anything in life. I am so grateful this terrible thing happened. That's my view on everything that happens to me, only because I do inner work, only because I see it for its healing modality. Everything is medicine, whether I choose to see it or not. So it is up to you to sit with and write down and acknowledge and reflect in perhaps this soothing environment for your senses that you are the best person you can be because of these things. You are who you are today due to those hard circumstances, and life is good. Always, always, life is good. This allows you to reach a higher vibrational frequency. Being a feminine woman lifts our frequency because we're stuck no longer in survival mode, but rather we're lifting up into a frequency of love, which is the frequency at which everything can change. Physically, the frequency of love changes things scientifically. It is astounding. Below that, we're in fear and we're perpetuating cycles of constriction. Beyond that, we are expanding and we are changing and creating. So, if you can hold a frequency for longer and a higher one, then you are even more feminine, more magnetizing, more open, more willing, more wonderful. And people will feel that, and you yourself will be blessed in that way. So you'll be even more of a virtuous woman by doing all of these micro habits. They'll help not only boost your feminine energy, but also embody and integrate it so that you can have the essence that you desire in this life because everything is happening for you. As Proverbs 31:10 says, "Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies?" Admiring each other and affirming each other is how we become more virtuous. I respond to and read all of your comments, so please leave some below. And if you want to be more feminine still, my last one-to-one of the year is closing soon at the application link in the description below. Until then, harden not your hearts, love and serve each other, as my Oma said.